Morning, everyone. Good to see lots of people here again.
I know, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's a very good morning as well. I've had to move my laptop to the other side of my desk because the light was shining on it from the sun.
Yeah, I'm glowing a little bit from the window behind me.
The
But
rarest.
it's
I don't
nice
think I've
to get
seen
some
this before.
sunshine.
No, it's the first time. Hopefully, one of many days that we get some sunshine this year. We need
It
it.
better be. Yeah, we do.
Well, welcome everybody to another HubSpot masterclass today with me and Emma. Today we're going to be focusing on using workflows, but to develop your marketing automation strategy. Okay, we did one a couple of months back now, wasn't it, Emma?
Yeah, 2 or 3, I
workflows
think.
itself, where we covered it of how to use it in marketing, in sales and service. This is really about marketing. So it's about looking at the different sort of types of emails that you can send in an automated way, at what point in kind of a customer's journey with you, what to do if they engage with you, what to do if they don't engage, so there's lots and lots to really take from this. So it's really aimed at Marketing Hub. So if you're a user of Marketing Hub Professional or above, this is going to be great for you. But also, if you don't have a Marketing Hub subscription, this is also going to be really good for you as well. Because you might have a marketing starter subscription and are considering looking at making the jump to professional to get some automation. You might have a sales professional license, so you're getting some automation, but what is Marketing Hub about? Okay, what's the benefit? How can I generate more sales by investing in Marketing Hub? And hopefully today you're going to be a lot clearer on it as well. Okay, so lots to go through. I want to start just with a little bit of admin to begin with. As always with these webinars, we aim to finish at 11 o'clock. I think that's a good enough time for us to cover everything so far. We are going to stick around afterwards. So if you've got any questions as we go through things today, feel free to ask, put them in the chat, okay? And we'll try and cover them as we go. We'll stick around at the end if we don't get time to go through them as well, because some might require a more detailed answer, which we'll cover in more detail at the end, okay? So that's it from my side. So I want to check just before we start whether the chat is live. Now, somebody has
read our mind there. Thank you,
Michelle may have been in one of our webinars before where we're checking it. Okay, there we go. That's brilliant.
Perfect. Looks like that is all working as it should be then. Fantastic.
Good. Okay. So I want to just start with a quick introduction on JDR. So this is for people that have maybe never attended a JDR webinar before, or the ones that myself and Emma have done. So if you've heard it before, you might be working with us already, you might know all this already, but it's always good to have a bit of a recap, I think, to begin with. So JDR are a marketing agency. We're an inbound marketing agency where our background's in business coaching, which is how we started. So we work with small to medium-sized businesses, helping them to grow their companies, okay? Been established 20 years now, and we've been working with HubSpot in our own business for 12 years. So I've used it every day for the last 12 years with JDR. And we've been partners with HubSpot for 10 years. And I think we're coming up to 2 years as elite partners. Might be 12 months now, 18 months, okay? And we've developed in our own business a proven inbound marketing system that we do roll out to our clients as well, where we use HubSpot to underpin all of our marketing and sales activity, okay? So we use it day to day in our own business, as well as helping our clients as well. There's 3 main ways in which we help with HubSpot. The first one being our onboarding or setup or implementation. When you purchase HubSpot, as many of you may have done already, you would have been required to purchase onboarding, particularly with any professional and above subscription. So you may have worked with me or Emma or any of the team here on an onboarding project where we'll help you get set up, provide you with the training and get you going with it. We also work with existing HubSpot users. So this is for businesses where they might have had it for a while, not sure whether they're going to get the most out of it. Okay, are they using it to the best of its capabilities? Maybe the person that set it up has left your business or whatever, and you want some specific training or consultancy work. We help in that regard. But probably the biggest thing that we do is we are an inbound marketing agency. So we are effectively an outsourced marketing department for small to medium-sized businesses, where we help not only on your strategy, but also helping businesses implement it as well. We write content for our clients. Okay, we manage their paid ads, their SEO. We manage their social media in some cases, right, or their email nurturing workflows that Emma's going to talk to you about as we go along today, to really help you ultimately grow your business. Okay, so if any of these you would like some, to discuss about your business on a one-to-one basis, what I'm going to do before I hand over to Emma is I'm going to put a link in the chat to my diary. Okay, and we can just have a call. I know lots of you did last month. As you can see, what we're on today, it's the 17th. So already I'm booked up until next Thursday. Okay, so I'm just basically playing catch up. So don't hesitate, book a call in today, and I'm more than happy to discuss any of those. If you need help on your marketing, if you want help with HubSpot, okay, I can do a portal review for you. You can give me access to your account. I can look into that as well. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to stop the share and hand over to Emma. I'm going to put that in the chat.
Pop that link in before I launch into things.
There we go. Done.
Super. Right. So I want to talk to you today, like Andy said, about marketing automation, but really how you can use this automated marketing to get more sales from what you're doing. Marketing and sales have to necessarily work together to bring people along and develop that potential interest into an opportunity and then a sale. And what you can really do through the automation and the kind of strategy that I'm going to run through with you today for that is the strategy that allows you to bring people down that kind of funnel and bring people through on their journey so that at every possible stage of that journey, you are top of mind for them. So there are tons and tons of different ways of doing this kind of automation, but the question that I get from people a lot when they start out with this marketing automation is there are so many workflows I could do. Where do I begin? And I think centering it around this sort of strategy is the best possible way of kind of dipping your toe into the water of that automation and just getting something started that's going to really help you to make more sales. So what I'm going to run through with you is the kind of system that I would recommend you take when you're looking at your business and starting marketing automation. So the first thing you need for automation to work is leads. You need somebody to be sending these emails to. Now that could be an existing database that you have, or it could be that you're doing some form of lead generation, getting new people in, whether that's through outreach, whether that's through inbound marketing, like Andy was talking about at the start, but you need some people in the account that you can, start marketing to. Once those people are then in the system, and this is the first workflow that I recommend everybody begins with, you want to straight away, as soon as they come into your system, introduce yourself to them. Ultimately, the goal of this initial introduction is to help them to know who you are, like you right from the outset, and to start building that trust that you are somebody that can help them. Typically, I say the intro emails, I go for around 3 emails, a kind of this is who we are, this is what we do. And then if you've got any case studies or anything, I think it's a great time to share that as well, just building that initial trust with them. And I always recommend that this introductory workflow is over a really short period of time. I'm thinking like maximum 2 weeks here. You want to get them straight away, tell them who you are, tell them what you can do, and really just put your best foot forward and really introduce the company to them. I always recommend this to start because this works for absolutely every business. There is not a business that is not going to benefit from introducing yourself to somebody as soon as they first come in. So this is absolutely the place that I would begin here. Once you've made that introduction to people, the likelihood is of all of the leads that you get in, especially if these are top of the funnel leads, people right at the beginning of their journey, a very small percentage of those people are going to come in and immediately do business with you within a few weeks of them first coming into the system. It takes time to nurture them. So the next thing you're going to want to do is to really get their engagement. I recommend doing this through what we call engagement emails. These engagement emails tend to be quite targeted based on the action that brought them into your website. So you want to be sending them really relevant content. So for instance, for us, a lot of our leads come through having downloaded certain guides. Some of you might have come into the system from downloading our HubSpot guide, for instance. So if that was the case, our engagement emails would very much focus on HubSpot related content for those people. So we would send them maybe a blog that we'd written about HubSpot, maybe a link to a recording of one of these previous webinars, maybe a offer of a portal audit with Andy, something like that. Getting their engagement based on the initial thing that brought them into your website, the initial thing they showed an interest in, works really, really well. This could also be done on specific product areas, specific service areas, however that is kind of set up within your business. The goal of this is to send them something relevant to what they first showed an interest in and try and get them to click on links, go through to your website, read content from you. You're not necessarily looking in these engagement emails for them to reach out to you and kind of put their hand up. What you're really looking to do, again, is build that kind of relationship with them and send them loads of really, really useful content. In order to do that, obviously you need to
comes into its own, isn't it? Sorry,
yeah.
I said this is where HubSpot really comes into its own, because what you're tailoring the content that people receive based on their behavior,
exactly
what they've looked at, which is so personalized. If you're having a conversation face to face with someone and they say, I'm interested in X, and you start talking about Y, okay,
yeah, you're going nowhere.
This is how you can personalize that as well. Great
absolutely.
way of just tailoring that discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. I do always recommend for people that you start fairly broad here. You don't want to go super, super granular with these engagement emails straight away. Divide your business into the main kind of service areas and then have 1 or 2, maybe 3 different sets of personalized engagement emails people go through. You can always build that over time. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew when you first start out doing this. So try and split it into your kind of core areas of delivery that they may have shown an interest in there. Okay. You then want to start branching these workflows based on how people interact with them. So if through these engagement emails, you get really high engagement from people, they're clicking on things, they're on your website, they're opening the emails, that kind of thing. And remember, HubSpot is tracking all of this. Again, this is the real power of HubSpot. It knows exactly what everybody is doing with these emails, so it can help you to segment and know which people within that workflow are highly engaged and which ones are just ignoring you, essentially. Those people that have engaged really well with those emails, they're the ones that you want to take the next step. They're the conversations that your salespeople want to be having. They don't want to have to talk to absolutely everyone. They want to be talking to the people that have really shown a true interest in what you're doing.
Just on that, obviously, as a business development manager myself, I'm kind of the face of JDR, so I often are in the sales department here, and having everything in HubSpot, being able to see what my prospects or my leads are what articles they've read, what content they've looked at, what emails they've opened, what pages they've visited on our website. It helps me from a sales perspective just make much better decisions with my time because I know what they're interested in. So having that marketing and sales journey all synced up is great. From a sales perspective, it's fantastic. And as
Yeah.
long as they're receiving the right information, the relevant information, it's great as even more.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what you really want to do is once they've shown that engagement, tell them what the next step is. People are not going to generally pick up the phone and call you and take that onus on themselves. You have to push them to do it. So these elevation emails, really, you want to be sending them whatever that next step is. So for us, it's to book a meeting with Andy. Everything's done via the diary links through Sales Hub. So you're able to just book a time directly in with him that works for you. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to take that next step and really put that in front of them once they have shown an engagement with you. So that'll be a proportion of the leads. There will also, though, be a big chunk of the people that get those engagement emails that don't engage straight away with those emails that you send. On average, the research shows that people need between 7 and 13 touch points, I think it is, Andy, before they will have a conversation with you and before they'll even consider becoming a customer. For some people, that's going to be way more. So you want to keep being persistent with these people. So if they don't engage, yeah, and that's only going to increase.
Yeah,
definitely. So if they haven't engaged with the things that they initially showed that engagement in, could be that maybe that's not their core focus right now. What you want to then be doing is segmenting those people out into various different categories and showing them other areas of your business. So for instance, we might have had somebody come in through the HubSpot guide, but actually they downloaded that guide because they want to get more sales. So maybe now we want to segment them into a group of people that might be interested in sales and start showing them that area of what we can help with. Maybe they need more leads before they can do HubSpot. We want to show them that area of the business, how we can help with lead generation. So you really want to start slicing and dicing people up and showing them different areas of the business. This segmentation can also be done on things like industry. So for instance, you might show people different content based on what industry they're in here, maybe sending them some case studies relevant to their industry, that kind of thing. And remember, again, HubSpot has all of this data on people. Any data that you are gathering about people, use that to split them out and keep showing them relevant stuff. Try different offers, different things to talk to them about, and show them as much of your business as possible, trying to get that engagement from them. Obviously, if they do engage with an area of the business within these segmentation emails, let's say sales, we then want to put them back in and engage them further on that. Once they're showing real engagement on that, hopefully they'll then come through to these elevation and take that next step there. So it's all about looping people back around, finding what they're interested in, developing that interest, and then pushing them over to your sales team to work with. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're digging and digging and digging into their need and their problem without ever having to speak to them, because this is all happening in the background, remember, through the automation, until they are telling you, yes, this is what I'm interested in. And then that is how you're going to develop that relationship with them. Okay. If they still don't engage with these specific segmentation emails, I always say don't give up yet. A lot of the time, it's going to take people a long, long time to make a decision. I have a client once who told me that their longest ever lead cycle was, I think, 10 years from first contact to actually making the sale. You don't want to just give up after a few months of trying them. So ideally, what you want to do is put them into what I would call a long-term nurture workflow here. The goal of that is to stay top of mind for these people, to make sure that you are there when they are thinking about you, essentially. So I would kind of drip this through maybe one a month over the period of a year, maybe over 2 years. General kind of useful, informative content that these people are going to find interesting, that if you kind of get them at the right time, they might kind of come back in there, in which case you can bring them into these elevation emails up here.
I think as well is you tailor it to suit your business as well. I met someone just last week who they work in like a lot of their products are on contracts where they're between 3 and 8 years contracts that people sign up to. So, you know, you want to be tailoring the amount of, or I suppose the length of the nurturing emails that you send, dependent on that sales cycle. So if it's no one's going to do it for a year. You want to keep emailing for at least a year, so you tailor it to suit your business rather than it's not industry practice that you do it for 6 months and that's it, or a year or 2 years or whatever. It's very business dependent as well.
Absolutely.
We have had a couple of questions. So Liam has asked, is opening, which I presume you mean an email open, is that an email engagement? Is that what you mean, Emma?
Yes. So engagement can be lots of different things. And again, like Andy was just saying, this is going to be partially dependent on your business. I tend to use a combination of things to measure that engagement. So I might want people to open more than one email, for instance. Just opening a single email isn't necessarily showing enough of an interest. But it might be for your business. It's going to depend on how many people you're kind of sending this to and kind of how that's working. So you really are going to want to tailor what that threshold for engagement is based on the data you're seeing in your account and based on what you know of your people. But yeah, opening is definitely something that you can use as a metric there.
I'm answering your question as well, Louise. I have not forgotten it.
Okay,
I'm going to
perfect. I have also got someone with a raised hand, but I don't think I can do anything with that. So, Katrina, if you'd be able to pop a question in the chat, I'm more than happy to answer it. And if that's not working, just drop me an email after the event, and we can always catch up on that. I'm not sure how to respond to a raised hand on a webinar, I'm afraid. Okay, fantastic. So after this long-term nurture, and like Andy said, that could go on years and years, it could go on a few months based on your business. If they still don't engage with that, you tend to want to do a final last ditch. Okay, are we going to work together? Are you interested? Yes or no? And this is kind of your final, putting it all on the table. Do you want to have a chat with us or not? Ultimately, there has to come a point where you say to someone, okay, this probably isn't going to happen for now. Maybe you've moved on from the business, your emails are all bouncing, you've not opened any of the 40 emails that we've sent you at this point. Obviously, if they engage with that, great, stick them into your elevation and move them forward onto the next step. But if they don't engage at that point, put them in the bin. You might want to set them as a non-marketing contact within your account, so you're not paying for them to be in there anymore. You might want to just put them on your general mailing list. So they're not getting these nurture emails anymore, but they get your kind of newsletter style emails just in case they do come back. But ultimately, they are no longer a priority for you to be nurturing. Obviously, through this sequence, there is always going to be a percentage of people that do kind of drop out the bottom here. But what you're aiming to do through these workflows and through all of the emails that you're sending them is you're trying to get as many people as possible into this elevation sequence to pass them on to your sales or your business development team and take that next step with people. That's your ultimate goal. Obviously, these emails you can tweak and change them over time, see what's working well, see what isn't, and adapt them to get as many people as possible coming into this sequence and taking that step with you. I'm just going to pause because there are a couple of other questions. So Shelley asked, a flurry all at once there. So Shelley asked, does HubSpot allow you to monitor who opens a link within an email that's sent to a prospect? Yes, it does. Through both one-to-one emails and marketing emails, you are able to see who has clicked on those links. It doesn't necessarily tell you who's seen the link. It will tell you if they've opened the email and if they've clicked on the link there. So yes, that is possible.
Lisa has asked, how do you determine what the forecast amount is and at what point do you add this and how to determine the priority?
Good question. So forecast amount is tricky, and some of this will be based around how many emails and stuff you want to send them and how you want to prioritize based on your database. So for instance, you might know that if somebody has a company size of more than 20 people, for instance, that they're more of a priority for you. They might therefore go into a different segmentation email. Maybe their criteria for engagement will be lower because you really want that lead. So again, that's going to be very, very dependent on your individual business, how you set those priorities and how you then nurture people through. But that will allow you to do an awful lot of very customized things based on your unique business. So yeah, I think that's a great point to add there. Shelley just had a follow-up question on the email clicks. They're asking if that's a paid package only. No, that should be possible on any version of HubSpot there.
Yeah, to track emails.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're talking about workflows here, and so everything that we've talked about today, sending automated emails, that is all on a professional subscription and above. Okay.
Yeah.
Just send an email using HubSpot, it will be able to track opens and clicks that way.
Yeah.
As
definitely.
Mark has asked, is there an assumption behind all this that busy executives engage with unsolicited marketing emails? Many don't. So can Marketing Hub workflows nurture through other channels other than email?
Great question, Mark.
Yeah, because I think that we all get emails, don't we? I think, and we're naturally evasive of them. I would say. What we're talking about here is sending content relevant based on people's behavior. So it's not so when you say the word unsolicited, obviously these people have potentially downloaded content from you previously. They've engaged with you at some level. So in many ways, they've come to you first. This isn't necessarily buying a list of data, putting it in, and sending information. It's tailoring it based on their behavior to nurture individuals.
Yeah.
However, one thing I will add is that with Marketing Hub workflows, it can send the relevant content through that. And then if you want to send through other channels other than email, that's where sales sequences come in, because you can send in-mail messages through LinkedIn and stuff as part of that. So there are other ways to do it, but I would say that what you're trying to do here is send people relevant content by showcasing your knowledge and expertise on subjects.
Yeah.
You're not going to get, it's not a sales-led email. Okay, it's a marketing-led email, and that's a big difference, I think. So
yeah,
quite a big topic, isn't it? Would you add anything to that, Emma?
It is. The only thing I would add to that is, from a much more pragmatic, practical perspective, is there are also third-party tools that integrate into Marketing Hub where you can send through like WhatsApp and through text and things like that as well. So there are third-party tools. They normally come with an additional cost to send text and stuff. I've even seen one that allows you to do it through direct mail, like through the door as well, that integrates with the workflow, which is very cool. It's quite expensive, but it is quite cool. So there are practical solutions to that as well if email doesn't work for you. But I would, like you said, Andy, I would definitely consider why email might not be working, and what you can kind of do with that. There's one more question I just want to run through very, very quickly before we finish.
We'll come back to your question.
But we will come back, to some of those other questions as well. What I want to just quickly cover, though, is how this is actually going to help you make sales, right? Because ultimately you can send all of these emails to people, but if it's not actually generating business for you, it's a waste of your time. So one of the big reasons why this helps is it's keeping yourself top of mind for your prospects. We know that people come in and out of the market to buy things, and they might not be ready today, but they could in a month's time, in 2 months' time. What this kind of nurture flow really allows you to do is stay top of mind so that when they are ready, you are the very first person they think of for that, because you have been staying in touch with useful and relevant content to them. It's also going to allow your salespeople to have better conversations. The people that are coming through this system will come in pre-qualified in a way, because you will know what links they have already read. They will have already read blogs from your company. They may have already downloaded guides, that kind of thing. So they're coming into those sales conversations no longer completely cold. They're coming in already with a level of trust and understanding of what it is you offer and what you do. So that makes for a much better conversation for your salespeople. It also allows you to move people down the funnel faster by developing the problem and the solution for them. Inaction and kind of passivity is one of the biggest challenges that you're going to face in your business, where people don't realize the problem is big enough to actually do something about it. Through this kind of nurturing, you can really develop that problem and bring people down that funnel towards the solution that they're looking for there. It also allows you to really prioritize and spend your time with the best quality leads, the people that have shown a real interest and shown an engagement. If you have a lot of leads coming through and you need to kind of prioritize where your time is going, this is going to really allow you to do that as well. It's also going to allow you to just be there when your prospects are ready to buy. If you're constantly emailing them, you're constantly in their inbox, at that point at which they are ready to go, you will be there through one of these workflows. Hopefully it'll be through the elevation one, because they will have shown an engagement in the run up to that point where they're ready to buy, and you will be offering them a meeting right at the time at which that is top of the mind, and that's something that they're wanting. And that's so powerful, to almost be reading people's minds and showing up exactly when they need you. It's going to give you so much trust and authority going into that kind of sales process with people. So this is really, really powerful stuff to work with sales. Obviously it is a marketing tool, but it's really, this kind of strategy is very focused on making those sales easier to achieve and getting you better quality people coming through. If any of this has been of interest, and we have got a couple more questions, like Annie said, we will stick around and answer those. But if any of this has been of interest to you and you want some help with how to develop this strategy, how to tailor this to your business, how to start building this out within HubSpot, the nuts and bolts of this, right? We can help with all of that, with the strategy, with the actually building it, creating the content for all of this as well. So that's something that we'd love to have a chat with you about. Andy will pop that link back in the chat, and we would love to speak to you about any of this. And yeah, we'd love to help you get all of this set up in your business, really.
Yeah, book in now. My diary's already getting busy. Yeah, don't hesitate. Yeah, don't delay, book today, is what they say.
Fantastic. All right then, shall we answer a couple of the questions that we've had, Andy?
Yes, we shall. So Frankie asked a very detailed question, which was, so we're a film and photography studio, so essentially an on-demand business.
Okay.
So we send out monthly emails and special offer emails, but in terms of these workflows, we feel our type of business wouldn't necessarily book from this setup, as they only book when they need a studio. Do you have any tips that could help us with a workflow based on this, as we're already quite a personable business and we deal with leads on a personal basis? They call or email us to inquire. So we still want to send them lots of emails after to encourage them to book, if we know they would only book, that they would only book if they need a space. My answer to that would probably be is that look at the type of content that you're sending people, and make them less sales led, as in if people only book when they need something, sending them special offers won't necessarily have the same impact, because the likelihood is they're only going to, when they want something, they're going to contact you. So but you want to consistently engage with them, so share more knowledge pieces. You know, film and photography studios, you can like blog articles you could share with them consistently, things like that, sort of topics to kind of showcase your knowledge and expertise and remind them that you're there, with calls to action to encourage people to book as well. So they're going to be less dismissive of them, because they think we're trying to help them, not just sell to them as well, which I think is quite powerful as well. That's a really good tip from using it from a marketing perspective, and just change the subject matter for it.
The other thing I would add to that is think about the timelines that you're sending these emails on. I'm not sure if you're B2B or B2C, but I feel like, especially if it is more on the B2C side, speed of response and getting in early with people there is going to be so important. So having workflows that are run, maybe you send a significant amount more emails in the first week or 2 weeks after an inquiry, whilst they've got that specific need at the moment, as opposed to dragging some of these out over a longer period. Going slightly heavier in the early days might work really well, as they've got that specific need and have just made that inquiry. I don't think you should stop doing the one-to-one calls and emails and stuff as well, but if in those first couple of weeks after an inquiry you're sending them some really useful, valuable content, like Andy said, but quite quick fire, and that is supporting your one-to-one conversations with them as well, I think that would be really, really powerful for you there. Okay.
Definitely.
Gavin has, oh, sorry, go ahead, Andy.
I was going to say, Jackie and Nikki have said thank you. They've had to go, but Gavin has asked, what opens recorded when someone clicks once on an email in Outlook and it is displayed in the preview pane? Is that recorded as an open, or does one have to double click and open the email for it to be considered an open?
Okay, so this has changed fairly recently, and opens now are a less reliable metric than they used to be, because some email clients, as soon as the email arrives, it almost opens it and scans it through. I believe that the preview pane, if they click once on it, will count as an open. Essentially, the way that it works is it's whether it triggers a specific pixel within that email to have loaded. Once that's loaded, it triggers that as an open. So whether that's your email client opening it for you almost, or whether that's you previewing it, usually that will trigger, which is why I tend to say if you're using opens as a metric of engagement, that you want multiple opens from people, or opens and a click there. I would never use just opens as your primary metric of whether somebody is engaging.
Yes. I think that he's just mentioned Outlook there, but I'm pretty sure that's the same for Gmail, Thunderbird, or email clients as well, is that
it will be.
A lot of them will have preview panes as well, and they do count as opens, but what you're looking for really is multiple opens as well from it.
Yeah, definitely.
Will has asked, how much of this can be done with HubSpot Sales Hub? What are the advantages of adding Marketing Hub if I only have Sales Hub?
Great question. So I think the main difference for me in this kind of side of things between Sales Hub and Marketing Hub is that Sales Hub doesn't allow you to send triggered emails directly to the customer. So this kind of nurturing that we have done here is all happening in the background without a salesperson having to do it. Your marketing team can set this up once and then let it run in the background without anybody having to do it. If you were to try and do this through Sales Hub, you would have to be enrolling people in lots of emails and that kind of thing, and monitoring all of that as an individual. And that can work really well. If you've got a very small number of leads and a very small database, that can be absolutely sufficient. But if you're wanting to take that to the next level and kind of scale that up a bit, what Marketing Hub really allows you to do is to push out that message on a bigger scale to more people with less effort from an individual having to put it in, because you just run it in the background. So that for me is the main benefit of Marketing Hub, to do this kind of nurturing. Is there anything you'd add to that, Andy?
Yeah, I think that from a sales perspective, obviously what what Sales Hub is a tool to help you prospect, or from a sales perspective, be better at sales and make better decisions from your sales data. And I think that it still requires that human element to a certain extent. Okay, you have to manually add people to a sequence to receive emails. Okay, it's more like creating tasks, reminders to call people, to follow people up at certain times. That's where the automation of Sales Hub comes in. Marketing Hub, you're not relying on the person. So if you're like a sales manager or you're a director of a business, and you want to ensure that every lead gets contacted, Marketing Hub is the best way to do that. With Sales Hub, you're relying on your team to do it effectively. Okay, and I think that there's still that element. So that takes it away, it frees up their time, so that that every lead that's coming into your business is getting contacted, is getting emails, or is receiving content. And you have the way to do that. Sequences helps, but it still requires that manual interactions as well.
Yeah.
So that would be my take on it.
Fantastic.
We had one on the Q&A one, didn't we?
Yes, we had one from Andrew asking, how important are subscription types when sending these automated emails? Do you generally find that people unsubscribe from all subscription types or specific ones? It's a good question, and subscription types you can get really, really deep, deep down the rabbit hole with, and I have done with some clients there. I would say, in my experience, generally, if someone is going to unsubscribe, they're going to unsubscribe from everything. So I would use your subscription types more really only if you have different types of emails that you need people to get. So for instance, I work with an accountancy firm that sends general business updates to people on a regular basis. They have to send that from a compliance perspective and things like that. So they have that as a separate subscription type. that people can unsubscribe from differently as opposed to their general marketing. So I wouldn't typically go too deep down the rabbit hole of having lots of subscription types, because people can just unsubscribe from all of them and regularly do.
I think as well, obviously, with people unsubscribe based around normally down to the amount of emails they receive. Okay. And I think that people can forget that, you know, they're not Amazon. You know, if you look at, I don't know, a toaster on Amazon, within a week you get 10 emails about toasters. They can do that because they have the brand power to do it, because they know not necessarily going to unsubscribe, because at some point in the future you're going to go buy something from Amazon, potentially. Whereas obviously if you're a small to medium sized business, you have to, so when you're looking at automation, you're looking at workflows, the amount of emails that you're sending, you have to look at, because that's probably the reason why people are unsubscribing, not necessarily the content itself as well. So that would be what I'd add to that. Mark has asked, it all start with the need for leads to operate on. Is there a minimum number of starting leads below which paying for Marketing Hub Professional doesn't really pay for itself?
So it's an interesting question, and I think it again is going to depend on your business and what your sales team capacity is like. But I think at the point at which you have leads that your sales team are not able to do this kind of chasing over a 12-month period, where they're emailing them every week or a couple of times a month over 12 months, if you don't have someone that is doing that with them, then there is a value in Marketing Hub Professional. If you've got a sales team of 40 people and they're, you know, doing all of this manually, that is great. But I think if there are leads that are not getting this kind of follow-up, if there are people in your database, people that you have spoken to that are not converting, that you want to be converting higher, then Marketing Hub Professional is worth it. That's my take on that. Would you differ in anything there, Andy?
No, I don't think so. I think that it's dependent on that. I refer back to, it's dependent on your sales team. You know, I found with clients, Marketing Hub Professional works really well for businesses that have sales teams, particularly because, you know, sales teams are notoriously high staff turnover as well. So
yeah, that's true.
Relying on an individual who may not be there in 6 months' time, and what has happened to that lead, particularly that was assigned to that person, is it being looked at again? Whereas this way, they're getting consistent messages, so it doesn't matter if that salesperson might leave or move on or whatever it might be, they're still receiving content from you as well. Okay, so it really does underpin, and a lot of like clients that I've spoken to treat a Marketing Hub Professional subscription as an additional sales team member. Is the one that just makes sure everybody gets contacted at all times as well. And when you look at it like that, and because obviously what a lot of people balk at is the price of HubSpot Marketing Hub. When you look at it like that, it actually does pay for itself and make it incredibly cost effective in the long run as well.
Definitely.
So Shelley has asked again, if you just had Sales Hub, can emails also be tracked and links and content within them, or do we need Marketing Hub also? We're new to this, so just deciding what we need for our business and what will be effective.
Yeah, so on Sales Hub, you can track one-to-one and kind of sequence emails and manual emails that you send to clients. If you have Marketing Hub Starter, you can also track one-off marketing emails. But in order to be able to kind of set up this full system where you're tracking that overall engagement and then triggering things off the back of it, you do need the Marketing Hub for that. Shelley, from your questions with you being kind of new to HubSpot and deciding what you need, a really good starting point with that will probably be booking a meeting with Andy, because we've done this in lots of businesses. We can kind of talk to you about what those requirements might be and make sure that you're on the right path to meet all of those goals. So that's something I would definitely recommend you do, Shelley. We can talk about that on a more one-to-one kind of personalized basis there.
Definitely. And Louise has asked a couple of questions. I don't really get the difference between marketing and sales. So are you saying that marketing works better because there's flows that activate? So Louise is just a Sales Hub user.
Okay.
So marketing works yes is the answer. Marketing works better because you can send emails automatically without having to manually press send. You can do that with Sales Hub, but through the sequences tool, but you can't trigger that automatically based on behavior. You would have to manually enroll them to do that. That's the biggest difference between marketing and Sales Hub automation features.
But that's not to say that Sales Hub doesn't work. Sales Hub on its own is still an incredibly effective tool, and it takes you so much further than having nothing at all. What we're saying on this is that using the Sales Hub functionality for that one-to-one manual emailing and making that easier, and pairing that with the Marketing Hub triggered emails and the automation there, when you add those two things together, it heightens the effectiveness of everything that you're doing. There are loads of things that you can do with just Sales Hub, but if you add this piece in as well, it levels it up to that next level and takes so much manual remembering and things like that out of it. Marketing Hub is more expensive than Sales Hub as well, which is a consideration, obviously, in any business. But they are most effective, in our view, when they are used together.
Yes.
Okay.
So marketing works better when used with, so Sales Hub works better when used with
Marketing Hub.
It's probably the best way I would answer that question.
Yeah, that is exactly right. Fantastic. I think we have got through all of our questions there. I don't think we have missed anyone. My apologies if we have. Hopefully that has been helpful today for everybody, giving you some things to think about there on all of that. Like we've said, if there's anything that you want to discuss on more of a one-to-one, you want to dig into this for your unique business, because I know it's hard to do that just through typing questions on a webinar, we would love to have a chat with you about it. So yeah, do feel free to get in touch with us on that front, as well as on anything else.
There's no one correct answer. We're talking best practices here, but what might work for one business that we've answered a question today might not necessarily work for your business. So feel free to book a call with me, send either myself and Emma an email or whatever, and we can pick things up and have a conversation and get it working more efficiently for you as well.
Definitely.
All right. Brilliant.
Fantastic.
We'll wave goodbye, and we'll see you all next month for the next one.
Right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, guys. Bye-bye.